Okay, 6:30. Excuse me. I forget about this. Hello, it's 6:32. And the microphone went dead. No. 30 p.m. Okay, let's start it good. Okay. Special considerations of participating virtually. Please mute yourself when not speaking and use the raise hand feature in the participants panel to indicate you would like to speak on an agenda item. Remember to unclick or lower your hand afterwards. Please limit time extraneous use of the chat feature as it can distract board members and audience members from conversations taking place about noticed items in the meeting. Rules of participation. Anyone wishing to speak, please raise your hand. After recognition, address your comments to the chair. Comments must relate to the pending agenda item. By board rules, audience and board members can have up to 2 turns to speak on a topic. Those speaking should be concise and limit comments to 2 minutes per turn. Those giving reports should limit their reports to 3 minutes or 5 minutes for presentations. Please silence all electrical devices. This board may take action on any agenda item as required by the state sunshine law. Specific issues not listed on this agenda cannot be voted on unless properly added to the agenda by 2/3 vote. And we have the call to order at 6:33, all body chair. Okay, we got the roll call, right? You gonna do that? Okay. Oh, Microsoft.
Allred. Duvall. DeVilbiss.
Here.
Galdera. Kachuk. Kim.
Here.
Kohler.
Here.
Lee.
Here.
Quadri. Solis. Solomon. Rabati.
Here.
We do have quorum at this time, Chair, with 7 of 13 members present.
Well, we're in there. Now let the fun begin. Okay, public safety liaison. Honolulu Fire Department, I see him right there. Hey, good evening.
Hi, good evening, board. My name is Firefighter 3, David Moffett. I'm from Engine 29 from McCully, Moiliili Station. So for the Honolulu Fire Department, we have the monthly incident statistics for May. In terms of fires, we had 0 structure, 0 wildland brush, 0 nuisance. We did have 2 cooking. We had 5 activated, number 5, we had activated alarms. We had 9. However, there was no fire that was found at those 9. In terms of other emergencies, we had medical. We had 115 motor vehicle collision with pedestrian, 3 motor vehicle crash and collision, 7, 0 mountain rescues, 0 ocean rescues, and then we had 1 hazardous materials incident. Okay, fire safety tip. So this month we have a little bit extra. We're coming on some. In terms of general tips, Hawaii is fire prone with a year-round risk of wildfire, hazardous weather conditions, especially during hurricane season, June 1st through November 30th. Will increase the risk. HFD is encouraging everyone to proactively protect yourselves, your family, and your property through advanced planning, understanding, and preparation. In the event of a power outage, remember these safety tips. So there's 4 of them. Build a 14-day disaster supply kit. Take an inventory of all the items you need that rely on electricity. Plan for batteries and other alternative power sources that meet your needs when power goes out. Know your medical needs, i.e. devices, refrigerated medicines. A general list is available online at honolulu.gov/DEM. Again, it's especially important if anyone has they rely on medical devices to be ready, be prepared to have alternative power sources for that. Using appliances during power outages. This is a big one. Avoid carbon monoxide poisoning. People will do generators, camp stoves, charcoal grills. Should always be outdoors, never inside, at least 20 feet away from any windows. Turn off, disconnect appliances, equipment, electronics that may be damaged during possible or momentary power surge or spikes. There's more information at visit. It's called ready.gov/power outages. I have a paper that I can provide the board with all this information and the links as well. So another big item this summer. So starting July 1st, the Hawaiian Electric Company will commence their public safety power shutoff program to reduce the risk of wildfire. As one component of their 3-phase wildfire safety strategy, HECO may preemptively shut off power in identified high-risk areas during periods of forecasts of high winds and dry conditions. The program is being utilized as their last line of defense to keep communities safe and may result in extended power outages. This public safety power shutoff, the acronym is PSPS, could last several hours or up to several days. The HFD and HECO will continue to work with the Board of Water and other city, state, and federal agencies to lessen any impacts from this power shutoff program, the PSPS. And you can visit hawaiianelectric.com. Just prior to this meeting, I went quickly to the website. As of now, doesn't seem like any of this area, McCully, Moiliili area, is a part of that program, but that can always change. So continue to monitor that, the news, the various agency websites to see if anything changes. And then one more item. This comes from actually the HFD administration. They thought it was very important for us to communicate this to the neighborhood boards. Make the boards aware that there's a website, fire.honolulu.gov. And on there, there's a request tab. So on there, using the request tabs, you can get things like you can request for incident reports, fire evacuation drills. There's a lot of community classes that are available. It's all on there. So if you go to the website, click on requests, that's a service to the community for various services a community can request for. In addition to that, there's another tab called News and Info. Over there, there's news releases, and you can actually see, I just started by giving the HFD statistics. You can actually see there's a map on there that's going to show all the various incidents as well, such as fires or medical emergencies. I don't know if it's quite 100% live, like up to date, being up to date, but it's pretty quick that information is uploaded on there. Yeah, and at this time, that is it. That is all that I have to say. If there's any questions from the board.
Questions from the board?
I have a question.
Yes.
Hi, I have a question about the street that I live on along with some other directors, and that's Lauike.
Okay.
When Iolani has a special event, there's parking in the no parking zones, and emergency equipment can't come down the street because there's parking on both sides of the street. Iolani has been called by several of us, and they feel that they hired 3 police and they open up Kaimuki Field for parking, but that doesn't prevent them from parking on our street. I want to be able to have emergency vehicles come to me if I need it. What can we do for that?
So what I can suggest, and I will make a notation of this as well. So we have a community relations office, and I'll be communicating that to them as well. We can also talk with our partners as well as HPD. When it comes to parking, that's more of a HPD enforcement. However, I will speak to them about that, and I'll reach out to our community relations office. And if you see something, say something. You can always call and let our agencies, or probably more specifically, I don't want to throw it on them, but parking enforcement is more of the HPD issue.
I'll pop it in also.
Okay,
Thank you.
thank you for your question.
Okay, we have Morgan online. Morgan?
Good evening. Thank you for all the really interesting and helpful information. I just wanted to ask about something you had shared on earlier in your presentation. Did you say that there were 3 incidences where vehicles had struck pedestrians? Did I understand that correctly?
Yes, so going back to the statistics that I provided, motor vehicle collision with pedestrians, we had 3.
Do you have the intersections for those?
I do not, but again, I can go ahead and I can reach out to the community relations office, but 2, that touches on, this might be a good opportunity. One of the notes that I gave from our HFD administration, if you go to fire.honolulu.gov, there's a tab on there for news and info. So we have a fire response map on there, which might be able to show you exactly which intersections that incident took place at. But again, I'll forward that information, and I'll make sure Moiliili, I'll make sure they'll get that information to you, Morgan.
Thank you so much. Appreciate it.
Anybody else on the board? No? Hey, yes? Right there, Ian Ross.
Ian Ross, I just want to commend the firefighters for a really quick response just a little earlier today on, sorry. So I just want to commend the firefighters for a really quick response earlier today at the gas station on South King and Punahou. I believe it's the Hele gas station. There was a fire started in the bushes right next to the gas station. So this was a little bit of a frightening thing to see. By the time I was already on the phone with 911, you folks had already shown up and put out the fire. So I just want to commend you for the good work in keeping the community safe. I believe this was tied to the encampment that's in the Kalakaua stream or ditch, depending on who's referring to it. And I'm just hoping maybe the community can keep a closer eye on it because, people want to always be there to call 911 quickly when it's next to a gas station. But thank you so much.
Anybody else with any comments? No. Thank you very much.
Thank you very
Thanks
much,
for coming.
Mayor. Good evening.
Okay, next we have the Honolulu Police Department. Who do we have? District 1? I can't see who that is.
Yeah. Good evening, Chair Robati, board
Oh.
members, and everyone in attendance. Lieutenant Arnold, representing the Honolulu District 1 Community Area Responsibility. Thank you guys for your guys' time and patience. I'm going to get right into the statistics for May. So motor vehicle thefts for the month of May were 3. From the previous month, it was also 3. Burglaries were 4. On the previous month, it was 3. Thefts, 9. Previous month was 7. UMVs or car break-ins, there was a spike, 10. From the previous month, it was 5. Assaults were 4. Previous month was also 4. Sex assaults and graffiti cases were 0 for both months. Drug-related offenses was 0 for this month. In the past month, it was 1. So our just one particular area, total calls for service west of Haole Street is 471 calls compared to the previous month of 422.
Wow.
So there was a spike in car break-ins in the area. So I looked into those reports, and 2 were convertible vehicles. 1 vehicle had their windows open, and then the other 7 were actual shattered windows. So our crime reduction unit is actively checking those areas, and as well as patrol units to see if we can reduce those numbers. We're asking our community members to just take better care of leaving valuables in plain sight within their vehicles. Other than those statistics I provided to you, there's no criminal breaches at this time. So the safety tip of the month for the month of June is in regards to unattended drinks. With summer upon us and young adults going out and celebrating, we're asking our community members to be more aware of their beverages when they're out. There is a growing trend on the mainland and of these types of cases. Cover your drinks, never leave it unattended, and never accept drinks that don't come directly from the staff or the establishment. Worst case scenario, if you start to begin feeling sick or become incapacitated, let someone know immediately, whether it be a friend or the staff, so that they can get you help as soon as possible. I just wanted to relate that there's also going to be the King Kamehameha Day Parade on the 8th. It starts off in the Chinatown Business District. However, it's going to lead into Waikiki. So expect traffic to be heavy during the early morning hours and leading into Waikiki. Other than that, I'm going to yield back the rest of my time and take any questions from the board members and the public attendees.
We have one here.
Thank you. I have a question about Lauike Street. One is the volume of parking from Iolani School, and the next one is the speeding, if we can get a speed bump in there. But Iolani School has been contacted by myself and several other people on the board, and they say that they have enough police patrols. They have 3. So it's morning pickups and morning drop-offs and afternoon pickups, where if you're coming in from University Avenue, it sometimes takes you quite a long time to get to Lauike Street. The other morning, I went out of my house, which is 5 units from the Alawai school, and it took me 15 minutes to get 5 buildings up to Hi'iwai, I think it is. When they have a special event, even though they have 3 police officers in Kamiki Field, they still park in no parking zones on our street. Saturday was graduation, and there was a row of cars parked on the right side, double parked. They were in their cars, but it was double parked from the corner, Hi'ibai, all the way to the corner where Lauike turns. And then on the right side, or on the Diamond Head side of the street, they were parked in every single no parking place. And as I mentioned earlier, emergency vehicles can't get in. And we've talked to community relations, and Iolani doesn't want to be a good neighbor. So what can we do, 1, about the parking situation with Iolani, and 2, about the speeding, if we can put in a speed bump somewhere along the line? We need help. Thank you.
I'm going to defer majority of that question to Lieutenant Nishimura from District 7, but I just wanted to comment on that. So I've worked that special duty before for the morning and afternoon pickups for the children. They do hire special duty. What the board members might want to do is take a look at that light at Date and that major 5-way intersection right there at the top, and try to see if maybe the city could possibly do some sort of realignment with the how quick the lights change at that location during those times. And I think that could also help in regards to the traffic in the area. It's a huge school, a lot of students. I totally agree. But yeah, I'll defer the speeding question to Lieutenant Nishimura when he comes up.
Thanks. And would you remind them that Iolani has a private road where their drop-offs can be using that road instead of Lauike? Thank you.
Okay, anybody? I just have one quick question about the homeless now. Question I have is, does the police department have a group that they're not police people, but they are sort of like people that go and talk to the homeless folks and see how they're doing? It's like a wellness department.
Yeah, there is another entity. It's CORE. I totally don't remember the acronym for it, but it's usually EMS services that go and speak to these individuals. They also offer medical assistance in regards to like minor cuts. In Chinatown, what they do is they go around offering bandages, cleaning wounds, stuff like that. Because I guess the premise on that is if we can provide them that medical service on the street, we wouldn't have to clog up EMS services, ambulance services, Queens, in regards to these injuries getting brought to them. Yeah. So there is an entity out there also, co-partnership with us in regards to these locations. Pretty much law enforcement, we do the SPOs, sidewalk property ordinance, sidewalk nuisance ordinance. It's usually for cleanups when the situation gets really bad, and it's more of a law enforcement presence and just a cleanup because there's a multitude of trash that needs to be taken away and property to be removed.
No, but I don't know if I'm being dumb, but do you guys go out and ask the homeless what they want? Do they want to go to someplace else? Or do they?
Absolutely,
care?
absolutely, sure, everybody. So, like in most cases, what we do is we offer them and refer them to some sort of shelter, IHS, HONU. There's several others. We have this pink card. I don't have it with me at this moment in time, but there's a lot of phone services that or services that we can offer, phone numbers we can offer to these individuals. But just realize a lot of these individuals refuse to take the help,
No, I understand.
and that's where, yeah, and that's where we end up, at these crossroads where we end up having to do law enforcement more than, outreach.
Thank you. Anybody else have anything? You guys? Right here.
Okay, good evening. My name is Merrill. So my question is, I live on the corner of Date and Coolidge Street, and we too have a serious speeding situation going on day and night, especially in the evening times, but usually right around this time from now until whenever everybody gets tired of speeding up and down our streets. I personally go out there and stand by my window and I watch. We have crosswalks on both sides of Coolidge Street, crossing Date Street. Number one, people don't stop for pedestrians. I've watched elderly people try and cross that street because of the garden that's up at the middle of Coolidge Street, and they have a hard time getting across that road. So I was wondering the same, would it be possible to put a speed bump there in that intersection, or one of those turnabouts like they did block down the road here? I brought that up with a couple of my neighbors, and they were saying that might be an issue for because fire department is always shooting down that street. So that would be one of my things I was curious about. Another thing I was curious about is would you be able to start putting speed traps on that street? Because guys go flying down that road at over 50 miles an hour easy. They go whipping, and usually like every 2 or 3 days or so, we get a guy in a black Mustang that with his souped up Mach whatever 2000 car, and he goes and just rages down that road. The other day, I think it was 2 weekends ago, it was the day of the Lantern Festival. It was the day of the Lantern Festival. We had a vehicle pull up in that intersection right there and do donuts. The skid marks are still on the road. They did it, more than once. They probably went around that thing about 3 or 4 times and then zipped off down the road. So I was wondering if you guys could start maybe implementing speed traps in that area to kind of curb these guys from speeding up and down that road. Thank you.
Merrill, thanks for that question. I'm going to defer that to, again, Lieutenant Nishimura. That's his particular community responsibility. So I'll have him answer that when he comes up.
Anybody else? No, thank you very much. It's always a pleasure to have you.
All right, thank you. You guys have a great night.
Okay, we have District 7. Hello.
Hi, good evening, Lieutenant Nishimura from HPD District 7. The following are the statistics for the month of May. Motor vehicle thefts 13, burglary 5, theft 14, car break-ins 14, with total calls for service 6,450. Also, I'd like to share some additional information. Yesterday, HPD conducted a raid on. I've seen that in the media. Gaming through arrests, and also there were some cash recovery as well. Also, to follow up, there was a report on a moped chop shop on the Laos Street area near the bridge. Officers went to investigate. They didn't find anything active, not an active chop shop, but they did see parts and that were recovered in that area. So the officer did address that. Also, we have continuing ongoing projects with regard to the homeless in the area, particularly in the big parks, Moiliili Stadium Park, but also in the Alawai University, Kalo Mini Park, and also focusing on bike and moped thefts in the area. With regards to some of the issues that were already brought up on Lawiki Street, during any type of special events, for Iolani School. If there's any parking issues, then please just call 911. We'll have officers go down and then we'll have them address any parking complaints or in-
Yeah,
Yeah.
we got the problem.
issues during that time. And do city and state partners, they need to do like studies and check and recommendation. We can have off.
Excellent.
Thank you.
Officer, you know you're breaking up, yeah? You're breaking up?
Oh, okay, I didn't know that. Was there something that you'd like me to repeat?
We didn't get any of it. So, yeah, try that again, if you could.
Okay.
Sorry.
Sure. No
It's just a
problem.
question. Yeah.
You want me to start from the beginning? Is it okay? Is the
Just the
transmission okay
questions.
now?
Just the questions you had that you were going over.
The questions?
Leonard, I
So you
think it
got
was
the
just from
statistics
the-
already, the monthly statistics?
No, Leonard,
Yep.
Leonard, I think it was just from the illegal parking.
Okay, there you go.
Illegal parking. Oh, okay. Illegal parking on Lawiki Street.
Yeah, just from
Yeah.
there.
Yeah. The
Chop, chop.
parking on Lawiki Street. There, if you guys notice any type of illegal parking or any issues with regard to the parking, just call 911 and we'll send officers down to look and see what's going on and we'll enforce any type of parking issues that we see there. Please let us know during big events. We don't always know what goes on at Iolani. So if there's anything going on, like I said, just call and we'll send officers down to check that out. Also with regards to putting up a speed bump, we'll defer to the state and city, our partners with that. They'll need to do some studies and things in the area. Also with regards to that same issue on Date and Coolidge Street. But what we can do is we can have officers go down and monitor the area during their patrol shifts, and then we can be part again of that study, and then we can at least enforcement for speeding. Also, I'm sorry, I forgot to pass on the monthly safety tip, which is preventing auto theft. And please be careful when you park your cars. Park it in a secure area. Make sure your cars are locked and secured in a safe area. Don't leave them unattended with the motor running. And don't leave the important documents in the car, especially like the vehicle title. And then, of course, secure your car keys at all times. But thank you. That's your report for the month.
Okay, I just have another question. Now, when you were saying that was a chop shop, is that the one underneath the bridge on Date Street?
Correct.
Is that the
Yes,
one?
correct. That's the one. Yeah,
Okay.
near Iolani School. That's the one.
Right,
Yes.
okay. All right. Anybody have any questions? And a board? Board, anybody? Did you have one? You're okay. Okay, we have one back here. You gotta use him. You have to use the mic. Right up there.
Is this the?
No, no, no.
Officer, it's not gonna be able to hear you.
Yeah.
Yes. Officer, hi, Edward Hulse. A new resident in where am I? Moiliili. If this is the segment to talk about transportation on these streets here in Moiliili, Young Street is a residential street for the most part, at least in this Moiliili. Is there any way to ask the EMS, the ambulance company, to not use Young Street? And because it's just two lanes, one going each way, and they go by around 60 miles an hour with their sirens blasting at around 6:30 on a Sunday morning. Is there any way for them to use the 4 lanes of Beretania and or King Street and not use Young Street for their passage of ambulances?
Is that a rhetorical
not-
question or
No, you're okay.
does everybody know the answer? Anybody?
Yeah, I can try and address at least a part of that question. I'm not too intimately familiar with the response procedure for EMS, but in general, when we have emergency response vehicles responding to a scene, they usually will try and get and use the quick.
Right against the meat of it too. Wow.
Hold on, you're breaking up again. You're, we didn't pay our cable bill.
Oh.
Still nothing.
For-
No, still nothing. One more time.
To a issue that might be there. I mean, that's probably what they.
What's happening? We didn't hear that part.
Try, oh, wait, Lieutenant
Sorry, is that better?
Ishimura? No, try that
Yeah.
Again.
Yeah,
We just got the last 4 words, so. Yeah, try it again. The question was about Young Street, not using that, but rather than using Aratania and Street Street.
yeah. I can't speak specifically to EMS. I'm not familiar with their response procedure when they're responding to emergency calls. But in general, when emergency response vehicles are responding, they will try to use the quickest and most direct route to where they need to get to. And I'm happening with regards to Young Street. So I think that would be a difficult issue. We can try and pass it on to our EMS partners, but I think that's probably what the response probably that they will give. They're just trying to get there as quickly as possible.
Thank you. And we have one more for you, Ian Ross.
Thank you very much. Ian Ross again. I have a foreboding that this question will be hard to answer as well. First off, I want to commend the officers on the raids on the 3 illegal game rooms. I live on Young Street, so this is very appreciated. My neighbors very much appreciate it. I have a specific question. The media reported, and this might not be true because they don't always get it right the next day after these stories, that only 2 arrests were made among these 3 raids. So I would just like to hear from the officer maybe on what sort of charges are often considered, how they make determinations on who they might want to arrest, and if there are any other actions such as ticketing that occurred. Thank you very much.
Are you there? I don't speak like echo. No, we're okay. He's muted.
How's my connection? Is the connection?
Now you're doing.
Am I okay now? Okay.
You're,
Sorry, I'm having some technical difficulties here. But yeah, so to follow with that question, I don't have the specific details of everything that went on with the investigation at the game room, but I try and answer as much as I can and that I know of. With regards to the arrest and with regards to arrests in game rooms, it's depending on the investigation and the totality of the investigation of what they found out, what was witnessed, who may or may not have been there. What they try to do is they try to look for people who are directly involved with the operation of that game room. So sometimes that may be difficult for the officers to establish at the time. Again, depending on what they observed, what witnesses were there, what other information that they are able to develop through the course of that investigation. In this particular case, I believe the individuals arrested had warrants of varying types, but they can also arrest for any type of or offenses that they actually see there while they're there. For example, if
we're breaking up again.
possession of drugs or any or if they're
Yeah, you're breaking up again.
on possession. Oh, okay, sorry. How's that? Is it better?
Yes.
Okay, maybe try and move around here a little bit. But they can also enforce any on-view violations like drug possession. And again, just the investigation of what information they find out with regards to the illegal activities in the game room.
Okay. Anybody else? Nobody? Nobody going once, twice, three times? Thank you very much. Thank you for putting up with this, this sound. Appreciate it.
Thank you. I'll try better next month.
There you go. It's all your fault. Don't worry about it. Okay, next we have Government Administration Liaison. We're going to start with the water, Board of Water Supply. And here he comes to the microphone. Okay.
Hi there, I'm Stephen with the Board of Water Supply, and for the month of June, this is our monthly report. There was no main breaks to report. There we are. The bar, it's the Board of Waters. I don't know. There's works hard to ensure that water served to our customers is safe to drink. Each year that we conduct thousands of tests on the water sources and the distribution system to ensure that the municipal water meets or exceeds all federal and state safe drinking water standards. Also, those tests customers in our annual water quality report, which should come to your home by the 1st of July. Now, if you live in a condominium, you won't receive the report because it goes to your building association that pays the water bill. But if you're curious, you can go to our website and pull up that water report by going to boardofwatersupply.com. That's our monthly announcement.
Anybody have any questions? Nobody. Thank you very much.
All right. Okay, thank you.
Thank you. Okay. We got Michael O'Keefe next, the mayor's representative. Michael? There
Aloha,
we go.
Chair. Aloha, everyone. I'm Mike O'Keefe, I'm Mayor's Rep. I'm also a Deputy Director with the city's Department of Environmental Services. So first, a couple of announcements. The Mayor's June newsletter is out. The June newsletter includes such topics as Mayor Blangiardi creating the Ocean Safety Department. Also updates to the city's critically important 911 system, and a list of resources for Hurricane Preparedness Month, which begins in June in every year. I'll drop the link to the newsletter in the chat, but it's also honolulu.gov/mayor/newsletter. Tonight, there is a town hall meeting tonight at Kanoalani Elementary. It's the second to last meeting of the remaining town hall schedule. The final town hall meeting is Thursday, June 20th. It's in at Wailua Elementary School, and that'll complete the 13 town hall meeting schedule for this year. Lastly, as for announcements, the Department of Parks and Recreation is still looking for a lot of staff to help out in its summer fun program. The jobs for summer fun are an excellent way to gain experience in the childcare field while earning a minimum $16 an hour wage in a dynamic work environment with dozens of program sites around Oahu. There's also a link for the how to sign up, or how to apply rather, for summer fun jobs. It's a short link. It's bit.ly/summer fun job, and I'll drop that in the link too when I'm done talking. And now just a couple of follow-up issues from the last meeting. First, the subject of traffic mitigation near Hihivai Street and University Ave intersection. Question was, can Department of Transportation Services conduct a traffic study to determine the viability of installing a raised crosswalk or other traffic mitigation near the intersection of Hihivai and University? And so DTS, Department of Transportation Services, took this response and they said that they will determine if a raised crosswalk or other traffic measure are appropriate based on roadway geometrics, traffic speeds and volumes, the number of travel lanes, and the surrounding development at Hihiva Street and University Ave intersection. If the roadway meets the criteria for a raised crosswalk, DTS will prioritize these locations and either program for their installation or request assistance from the HDOT, so the Hawaii Department of Transportation, to implement a raised crosswalk. However, please note that this process may take some time, as we may have to ensure that our decisions are based on sound engineering principles. So second follow-up, kind of similar to the first. It's actually a carryover from two meetings ago. Another pedestrian crosswalk topic. Question was, why do some crosswalks have automatic pedestrian crossing indicators when the vehicle traffic signal changes, while others, you have to manually press the button? The crosswalks at the Atkinson Drive and Ala Moana Boulevard and McCully Street and Kapiolani Boulevard intersections are not consistent. For crosswalks that do not have automatic pedestrian crossing indicators, it can result in waiting for several minutes for the next light cycle. So DTS took this one again. There are a couple of reasons why the pedestrian signals are programmed to come on without pressing the pedestrian button. At some of these intersections around the island, the traffic signal has not been upgraded, so the location of the pedestrian buttons are not ADA compliant. Therefore, the pedestrian signals are programmed to come on automatically. There are also locations where the underground conduit system has failed. For example, the wires are damaged, and we are unable to replace the damaged cables for the pedestrian buttons. The department realizes having the pedestrian signal come on automatically may result in an inefficient signal timing as well. If anyone notices a pedestrian button that is not working properly, they can report it to DTS at 768-8387. And then the last item, the Alawai Bridge funding was the topic. Or why does the mayor have additional money in the budget for the Alawai Bridge project and surrounding Complete Streets project when the city has already received $25 million in federal funding? DTS also took the response here. In July 2023, the Honolulu Department of Transportation Services was awarded $25 million federal grant from the Rebuilding American Infrastructure with Sustainability and Equity grant program to help construct the Alawai pedestrian bridge. The $25 million in funding is proposed to be appropriated in the mayor's fiscal year 2025 capital budget bill so that it can be expended. The estimated cost of the bridge project is currently anticipated at $63 million, a portion of which is covered by the $25 million in federal funding. The remainder will be funded by additional federal funds allocated to the state by formula, as well as the required local matching funds, which will come from the city. So that concludes my report for this week, but I'm certainly happy to take any questions.
Okay, anybody on the anybody? Nobody. Okay. You guys, Laura? Wait, 1 second. 1 second, Laura. 1 second. We have one person ahead of you. Morgan?
Hi, Mike. Thank you so much for getting responses to the questions that I had submitted last time. I just wanted to give one point of clarification, which is that I'm personally, when I was bringing up the point about the crosswalks not turning automatically, I actually think it's a positive thing to have the crosswalks automatically turn for pedestrians and not have them do that. And I would like to see the other crosswalk lights, the ones that are not automatic, follow suit rather than see it as a glitch in the system that they're automatically turning. Yeah, I think a lot of people benefit from having them turn, not the least of which if you don't make it to the light right when it's about to turn, it will turn automatically for you and you can feel like you can turn. So if you just want to clarify to the folks that you were talking to in transportation that that's where it was coming from. That would be great.
Sure. Yeah, sure thing, Morgan. I'll pass that along.
Thank you.
Okay, Laura?
Hi, Michael. Yes, you almost answered one of my questions that I've had running for months, and that's the DTS failure to, they do not need to do studies. I even sent them a video of the Iolani school parents running the stop sign. They're not just slowly turning on Hi'ivai and University. They are racing around the corner, and it's a blind corner. The other corners, the other intersection that they race through is the conjunction of Waiaka and Kuile, which is also for Kuhio school students. So both the Alawai school students and the Kuhio school students are very impacted by this. And what happens is the people run the Waiaka and Kuile street as if there was no stop sign at all, and they just race it through. So it's not a question of studies, because when people come out from DTS and stay 5 minutes or 5 hours, whatever it is, they're not going to catch all of those things that are going on. These are very dangerous things. And I think, raised crosswalks is what I suggested, but there's also the rumble strips. It looked like a cut out. Okay, it can be fixed. And so it's DTS that needs to be responsible. And I have to say, for the proposed bridge canal, I have made many comments over since 2015 on through. Every time there was a ability to have a response, I made a full written response, never received any confirmation back that they'd received it or that they had made any of the suggested changes that I suggested. So yesterday I sent them a very big email, and I think I'll have to send it to you so you can maybe weigh in to the others. Namely, it happens, we just picked 12 points that were crucial and have not been addressed yet. And we feel that a full EIS is absolutely necessary to address those points and many more also. We've had no collaborative community input. We would like to have a charrette at the beginning of any project, at any neighborhood, anywhere in the state or the state and county, to say, what is the community feeling about why something is going to be placed in a certain location? It's just good, I don't want to say good business, but it's good planning for making everybody feel good about what's going on. So if you can pass that on, I know the mayor has received my long email that I just sent yesterday, and I hope that you'll pass it on to many other people, all of the DTS people and all. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Yep,
Okay,
got it.
one
Thanks,
more.
Laura.
Good evening, Mike. I'm trying to figure out, so when you mentioned that you guys it has to meet the criteria for the race crosswalks, what is the criteria?
Yeah, it's a good question. It's out of my knowledge area, but I can try to find out from DTS.
We have Daisy online.
Thank you, Chair. Mr. O'Keefe, this is another DTS OTS problem. I a commuter on the bus almost on a daily basis on the city bus, and guess what? I attended the OMPO CAC meeting yesterday, and we found out that for some reason 6 passengers ended up with a CO2 or carbon monoxide poisoning. That's unheard of. So I don't know if the buses are old or if there's something that they use to clean the seats and the bus with is causing this carbon monoxide poisoning agent in the bus. But I understand 6 people got seriously ill. And I heard that this is not the first time. It happened last year too. So OTS and DTS to seriously think about what's happening, because in the meantime, these people who depend on the bus will not be able to use it because it's for their own safety. So please have them check it. It's a very serious problem and concern. Thank you.
Yeah, thanks, Daisy. I know you said it, but I didn't catch it. Where these 6 people that got sick, where did that happen or when?
It happened sometime this year, and it was in a
Okay.
city bus. The buses
Okay,
that
got it.
we take, yeah. So I don't know
Yep.
if it's the chemical they use to clean the bus, or if the buses are getting old and they need to have it monitored. I think there's some kind of technology that you can attach to the buses to detect a high level of CO2 so people don't get ill. Appreciate it. Thank you.
Got it. Thank you.
Okay, anybody else have any questions? Going once, twice, nobody online. Thank you, Michael.
Aloha. Thank you.
Okay, bye-bye. Okay. I don't know if Elmer's going to be here today. No, Elmer's off this evening. That's University of Hawaii. Next, governor's representative. Also, he let us know that he wasn't going to be here either because of their meeting. So we're finished with that. Next, we're going with board business. We're going to start with filling of vacancies. Now, do we have anybody that wants to get on the board? Come on now, don't anybody sit there quick. Come on, jump at the chance. No? No, we don't have anybody online? Nope. Okay, so that takes care of that.
Criminal background, how to detect them.
Well, depending on what you charge, no. No, that's, yeah, exactly. Well,
Say your address. The license as a bigger habit.
yeah, it's only done by residents, that's all. Okay, so we don't have anybody there, so that takes care of A. Number two, motion to change the location of neighborhood board meetings. Just to let you know, I went around and looked. It's out of our price range, by the way. This one's not too bad. If anybody's against it, speak out now, and then we'll go from there. But for me, this is close. No, going once, twice, 3 times. Okay, thank you. That takes. The next one's a biggie. Next month, board meeting. We can't do it on the 4th because that is a holiday. And we were thinking about taking the month off. Now, that would be up to the board to vote on. So what we want to do is motion to recess for next month. Anybody want to do that?
Second.
Okay. 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 Who are the two that, yes. Yes. Oh, Kohler and
Elvis.
DeVelvis. Okay. So now I need a motion. No, discussion. Anybody have anything bad to say about this one? No, I think it works out good. All of us. Next, now we're taking a vote. Okay. Start with, look. Any objections? That's all we need to know. Everybody okay with it? Yes, okay. Carries, we're off next month. Yeah, unfortunately, you don't get anything out of that one. It's just the board. Yeah, sorry. There you go. You're okay. Okay. Still
Nothing
gonna,
wrong with
yeah. Okay, so we're off next month. August will be the next meeting. I'll let you know what date that is. I'll send you August 1st. August 1st is the next. Just let you know. I'll write that in there. The next one, if you're looking at our presentations and whatnot, the fest coming up, those folks couldn't be here. Now it'll be August when they will put on their presentation. So because their festival is in September, just to let you know. Okay, next we have Laura Ruby, a resolution to request a full environment impact statement. And you have to know that we were going to do this last month, but we didn't have quorum. So this is basically last month when she did this. Okay, is that right?
Yes, and as this is the formal way that you have now presented it as a board member, so I'm able to speak. Okay, thank you. Okay, some of you have, you may have gotten it in your email, but you also, I gave some here. This is a revised one. Let me just say initially, what an EIS is. It just is a holistic analysis or statement or investigation of the site and of what might be proposed in that site. So it's not any impact on, it's not telling anybody what to do. It's finding out information so that people who may be in charge can do a better job. That's basically it. Does that make sense to you? Okay. Okay. And so it's holistic. It's bigger, much whatever. So you don't have to read the whole thing, but the first part is that before any development takes place, and that means it should go back to the drawing board. I didn't say to Michael O'Keefe that that those monies that have come in for the proposed bridge have gone to planners and developers, not to really people that are doing anything that has to do with an actual bridge. But all of these are things, and I don't want to go into them because I don't want to take too long, but zero build, there's called a Waikiki Special District, there's a Diamond Head Special District, zero build land ordinance, there's the Migratory Bird Treaty Act, because we have Kolea and we have white tern in our Alawai Park. So just in case you're not quite familiar with where the park is, it extends basically from McCully Street all the way down the Alawai Canal to the Manoa Stream. And then on the other side of Manoa Stream, of course, is the golf course all the way down. So it's a big green belt. And you think about how nice it is to have open green space. And that's actually what we would like to have continued. And so what, what's mandated or what's a part of the EIS is a full quality of human environment. And that means historical, cultural, social, use factors. Right now we have Pacific Islanders that come out in the hundreds and use the park. It's just quite wonderful. The little kids playing in the playground, the teenagers playing at the basketball courts, and the older folks are singing or getting together in social groups. It's just a really, really nice place to see it so used. It's 100% occupancy. And then we have the community gardeners. We have the McCully League, that's the senior softball leagues. We have the canoe paddlers are a big part of it because that's historical, and that is a large part of what goes on there. Then there's and the dog park and everything. And there's also all of us that use the park by walking through it or riding through it in various ways. It's a gracious, open place right now, and it closes at 10 o'clock. You want to remember that. Okay? All parks close at 10 o'clock unless some other parks have been granted earlier closing times. And, in an EIS, because it's federal tax dollars that are being used, all of these physical, cultural, historical, and human environments have to be considered. And right now, what is being proposed has not been thoroughly analyzed or investigated. And what is now called a draft EA, that's a shorter version, not very comprehensive at all, has been proposed. And they say they're still waiting for it, but they've been waiting for it since 2015 or 2021 or whatever. In other words, nothing has changed. They're just sort of sitting there with this supposed incomplete document. I can't say anything further than that. And so I would want to say that, first of all, that the Diamond Head Board, Neighborhood Board, has already passed this resolution, and NOAA has passed the resolution, and we complete sort of the circle around the canal and will be supportive of asking for a further investigation. And let's just to let you know, it is comprised, the area that we're talking about is comprised of the Alawai Canal, the promenade, which is on the Waikiki side, and the Alawai Park. All of them are historical. Oh, I should say also the Alawai School is historical also, and it's right adjacent to the park. And after school, the parents take their kids over to the playground and have a good time there. So you can see the full use and the wonderful park activities. The suggestion, any future plan or development, I don't want to go into that really today, although I can, is bisecting the park. And that is going to disrupt all the social activities entirely. It's going to disrupt the ability of all the park users, like the community gardens, to come in and bring their mulch and everything else.
2 minutes.
And so, yeah, okay. And so what I'd like to do is I'll leave my email address and I can send you the 12 points that I sent out to the city and county yesterday of why these things are needed. Things from site, location, parking, communication with stakeholders, especially, which is called the charrette, where we come together and decide on things. Anyway, a motion to accept the EIS, the resolution as it's written here, for a full impact statement for the proposed bridge over the Alawai Canal and University Avenue and Kalaimoku Street residential neighborhood sites. And that is to tell you, both sides are residential. They're not commercial. There's nowhere commercial to go. If somebody thinks they're going to go and walk a full mile to Puck's Alley, that's okay. But there's nothing there. So I would like to ask for somebody to put it in the nomination and second it, please.
1 second. Anybody have any questions first? Go ahead.
Thank you, Laura. I'd like to know how far into the future will this EIS go?
This is a determination of what's there now and and they'll have to investigate some of what is the past, because you have to bring forward, how did the community gardens get started, for example? How was the school decided to be there? That's background information, but it would be, what would we have they do is what is not in planning is what are the future plans, because that's an impact on us, the taxpayer dollars. And that will be ongoing maintenance, constant security, constant police force, constantly maintenance in wiping out graffiti and keeping the skateboarders off places, so forth.
So how far into the future will the study go?
The study can only say what the future concerns would be. It's just what I mentioned. There's probably more future concerns.
What's the estimated budget on this?
Right now, they just said, I was saying 60 million, but it's 63 million. But hey, it's going to be a whole lot more than that. And it's also going to be, like I said, into the future, which is all a burden on us, the taxpayers.
Thank you.
Okay, we have, anybody else on board? No. We have Michelle.
Yes, hi, Chair. I was just wondering, I think the board already had discussed and voted on this resolution just a couple months ago.
One.
This is a different one.
Yeah.
What's the, maybe I'm missing the distinction.
We're not talking about the design of something that would cross the canal. We're talking about the site and the use of human beings that is determined in the location, and it's the potential for having something in that site. That's
So
what
the previous resolution was to request a full environmental impact statement for the.
Correct.
And what is this resolution?
This is to request that specifically. The whole title has to do with the two residential areas on either side of the canal and the park and the canal.
So the title is different?
That the title is a little more complete. It gives you an idea of if you're doing something that's a public transportation, public mode of moving around.
Trying to ask the chair a question about the resolution itself. It seems to me it's the same resolution.
Well, what are your concerns?
That it's not a new resolution. The board already voted on it?
No, we're not talking about that. We're talking about what this resolution is now.
But you just said it's the same resolution with a
No,
different
it's
title.
not.
Okay, we're not going to argue about it, okay?
Yeah.
Let's go to next question.
Looks like-
Wookie, next question. Sorry.
Yeah, I mean, I guess I'll start with a comment, which is I sort of second what Michelle just mentioned, that this seems substantively identical to the resolution that we already voted on. And I guess my follow-up question is, the environmental assessment for this project came out in March of 2021, which is over 3 years
Right.
ago.
Right.
And what I'm wondering is why or how can an EIS be requested over 3.5 years after the draft environmental assessment came out? And, members, including you, Laura, had the opportunity to petition for a full EIS or submit
We have.
comments. I just don't understand why or how this is even possible over 3 years after the public comment process sort of either began or, I don't know the exact timeline, but, began and ended 3 years ago. So that is a big puzzle to me.
Okay, first of all, I've responded every single time that they had anything that came out and I said a full EIS is required. The draft EA is only that. It's a very simplified version of which they had Mason's Architecture Company do survey or did a little study of all the buildings in the locale. It did not go into the park or any of the other kinds of things that are necessary for a study, full study. And this is actually a full EIS should be done on every single project that goes around. We've had ones that have come before this board and other boards that have not actually taken the community into consideration because they're trying to do a fast track. And this is, and we have absolutely been trying every single time to get them to be responsive to some of the very basics that have to do with understanding the community and working in the community. We're not trying, we've been all along, no responses have ever been made by DTS or Complete Streets or the city and county.
Okay, thank you.
So it's a community effort to try to get something done. Like I said, 2 other boards have already passed this.
Okay. Ian?
So I'll keep my remarks brief. Laura Ruby, thank you so much for all your hard work on this one at the McKeekee Neighborhood Board. We were grateful to have Chair Rabati join our last board meeting to share some information about this resolution. If you do consider passing a resolution like this as a neighboring board, we'll be happy to take it up as well to potentially amplify your voice. So I just wanted to share that if you do choose to pass such a resolution. Thank you very much.
Okay.
Thank you, Ian. And McKeekee board is maybe a little at the edge of
Hold it.
McCully, I think.
Cam?
Yes, can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay, thank you. Yes. I think that this resolution is reckless, and I say that because the resolution and Laura's testimony here completely, it's just a false description of the process the city has undertaken. The draft EA is over 1,000 pages long. It is not a fast-tracked, quick pass just to rubber stamp an idea from the city. This was an exhaustive examination of public uses, of traffic patterns, everything. And the project was revised as a result of public input in the EA process. So the city has been responsive to the public. It has modified the bridge plan in response to public concerns. And so, it's simply not true that an environmental assessment wasn't done. It was done. Laura just doesn't like the result.
Okay, Daisy?
They lowered
Daisy,
the.
wait. Daisy?
Thank you, Chair. Thank you for the comments, but I studied this from 2015 or 2017. City wanted 5 bridges. Now they said 1 big bridge. But guess what? The people that were there were mostly people that were with the bicycle league, because the questions was very it wasn't really community based. The questions they asked was more that something the bicyclists would like to have. Nothing wrong with that, but you have to think of all factors. Now think of this as an EA, it's just a simplified version. Say you have to build a house. Would you like to have a drawing, a real rough drawing to say, oh, this is what your house is going to look like? Would you want to have a more detail with all the places where your windows, your doors, your electricity, etc.? Wouldn't you rather have that type? That's what the full EIS will show. So it's a calling of whether you want a real skimpy job that the city did, or you want a real fully detailed, because this is not a small project, it's a huge project. So you need to really think, which would you rather have? A skimpy thing or a full one that shows exactly what will be involved? Because it doesn't only involve your community and Waikiki, but all the other areas. Thank you.
Okay, we have or one more question. Last question.
Yes, maybe I just want to be clear here. What we're saying here is the side of the bridge, right? And that location that goes into the park. Is that what we're voting right now? That's right?
Yeah.
Okay, whether we agree or not, right? Okay.
Okay,
Can I say,
no, sorry. We're done now. Okay, board, is there a motion here? Somebody want to make a motion on this one? We want to make a motion that we do want to do this resolution, or we don't. So let's do a roll call.
I'll make the motion.
Okay. Need a motion. And we got Nelson and yes.
It's less scared.
No, we did.
Yes.
Anybody else? Anything? Nothing? No. Any questions or anything? Okay. Oh, sorry. Now we're gonna go with the vote, I think. Okay.
Okay, so the current motion was made by Member DeVilbiss and seconded by Member Duvall to adopt the resolution to request the full environmental impact statement for the Alwai Canal, University Avenue, and Kalaimoku Street residential neighborhood site. Allred? Duvall? And if you guys could talk into the mic too, that'd be great. So that's I for Milton. DeVilbiss?
Aye.
Galdera? Kachuk?
No.
Kim?
No.
Kohler? Lee?
No.
Quadri?
No.
Solis?
No.
Solomon? Rabati?
Aye.
The motion is not adopted with 4 ayes, 5 noes, and 0 abstentions.
Okay. We'll move on from that now. Okay, next. Okay, 3 absence letter for board members. Milton, sorry. 3 absence letters for board members, Milton, who I talked to, and I know the reason that he was out of those. So I don't mind that one. Angie, I believe she told me that she didn't want to be on the board any longer. That's what I got from her. So we have Milton, no Angie. I take care of that. Yes. Okay, next. Approval for written summaries for video record. I need a motion to adopt our records.
I'll motion.
To adopt.
Two. Okay. Let's go with, any discussion? No. Okay, let's vote on the Thursday, April 4th first. Or you can do both? Okay, we'll do both. April 4th and May 2nd. Is everybody in favor or? Okay, we're in favor. That'll pass. Okay, we're all finished with those. Now we get to Councilmember Calvin Say. Nobody? Oh, there he is.
I'm here. Hi,
Hello.
Paul. Thank you very much for giving me the opportunity to speak this evening. I've enjoyed the discussion that the board members have had along with the residents. During the past month, we've had over 12 different requests from the residents of Moiliili, McCully. It ranged from the homelessness at the old Kukua Market in Moiliili The demolition project underway at the corner of Young and P. Coy. A suspicious blue Cadillac parked at the old stadium park. Somebody needed assistance in getting building permits. The Moiliili concerns. Kapilani Boulevard repaving project concerns regarding the McCully and South King Street intersection. Homeless encampment fronting HMA building at 1360 South Britannia. Once more, another homeless concern. The Alawai Canal pollution and homeless encampments feature a call out for Hawaiian Humane Society for foster volunteers in the next constituent communications. So we've been doing that in regards to getting volunteers to help out the Hawaii Humane Society. As I go on, concerns about illegal commercial vehicles parking, business operating on an empty lot on Houston Street, directly from 710 Houston Street. Moving on, we have the homeless once more. Then we have a constituent who failed to identify herself, but was identified later in regards to the issue, in regards to the homeless at the restrooms at Moiliili Park, whose children play baseball and need to have the homeless removed. Overgrowth of Kalakaua Stream, condo rebate on home property tax rates for putting in sprinkler systems, which is the ordinance of 2242. It just goes on and on at this point in time, Paul, and I'm happy any questions that the board members may have. My report is in the chat, but I'm really enjoying the discussion that the board members and the residents are having on all the different issues that were discussed this evening.
Okay, anybody on the board have any questions for Councilman Asai? No, anybody in the audience? No? Daryl?
Yes, my concern was, I wrote, 2 letters to you, Councilman Calvin Say,
Yes,
about the light poles along the canal.
yes.
Did you get to read that? Yeah, you didn't update me on, yeah. Could you wanna further share?
Okay, I'll send it to my staff. Andrew?
How's it, Daryl? Yes, I did reply back to your email. The original request was early April, and you noted the light poles that we had to get into. I did submit the request, and then when you emailed me again, I submitted a request on the 22nd of May. We did have a bunch of light poles fixed at the Alawai Promenade Park. So it's kind of in the area. So I was hoping that they would fix it because it's nearby. But I'll definitely check with the Department of Parks and Rec and see if they'll get to it soon.
What the concern was, the one by the dog park, by the mangrove bushes, by the stream, by Yolani School. Yeah, there's about maybe 3 or 4 that is out. That is just a big long section. When you're walking, it's just pitch black. I mean, and you don't know, before in the past, there were homeless people living in the mangroves, if you ever recall. And so you don't want anything like getting robbed or assaulted. That can be very, there's no people that that's patrolling or security around there. So the lights would really work better, if you can get it going right now as soon as possible. Also in back of by the gardens, there's those rest spots with the benches. And people sit there, and there's a couple of homeless that's living there or staying there, and it's dark too, and it's kind of dangerous for especially ladies that walk little dark at night, not really late at night, but dusk time, it's dark and it's kind of scary. So I hope you can get it fixed or get some bulbs there, or light bulbs to work the light poles. So I appreciate it. Thank you.
Thank you, Daryl. We'll definitely follow up for you. I'll email you.
Okay, thank you very much.
Thank you, Andrew. Okay, Paul.
Any other questions? Any other questions? Oh, right there.
Good evening, Calvin.
Hi.
My name is Merrill.
Yes.
Hi. So I spoke to your assistant, Andrew, a few times on this issue about the parking meters being installed on Eisenberg Street.
Yes.
I live on the corner of Date and Coolidge, and on Coolidge Street, we have a really bad parking situation there because a lot of people like to come over, not a lot. We have in our occasional crowd that likes to come over there and park their vehicles there for weeks at a time. And I have been very adamant about calling HPD and making sure that these cars are removed or tagged, right? So,
Yes.
my question is, you know, when I spoke to Andrew, he said that these parking meters were set in motion about 6 years ago.
Correct.
Okay. So Eisenberg, as you know, bottom half of Eisenberg is all residential area. So I'm kind of curious. Andrew, quote unquote, said it was decided by the community to have these parking meters installed. So after speaking with him, I was pondering about this, and I thought to myself that, you know, we have free parking on Eisenberg. So why would the community all of a sudden want to have to pay for parking, right? And I understand that the state needs money. I understand all that stuff, but to implement parking meters in a residential area is going to push that parking issue over into our streets that we're already battling with every day. Because when we come home from work, parking is so scarce on our street. People are driving up and down at after work hours, driving up and down and just waiting on the side for a parking. As soon as the parking opens up, boom, somebody's in there, and we have to wait. So, you know, my thing is, what are we going to do about this parking issue on our streets now?
Well, first and foremost, I think for all of us throughout the community of District 5, we are going through a lot. At this point in time, you know, there are more and more renters, there are more and more people, whereby some of our projects may not have enough parking for those particular tenants or residents. And that's why there is a competition for on-street parking. All I can say to you, if Andrew did the research, it was before our time. Andrew, if you can find out the research of why the study was done, that's number one, at the request of the residents of the past, and maybe the board that adopted it prior to, you know, other members of the board being elected. So at this time, I cannot really give you an answer, but it is one of competing interests for all of the residents of the Moiliili area. And also, it's an issue with regards to Eisenberg. I'm sorry, because it's not just Eisenberg. For the board members who've been attending these board meetings, it's also Houston Street, Date Street, all over Moiliili, McCully. I'm sorry, I'm giving you a long answer, but I'm just trying to.
That's fine.
I'm just trying to be sincere and honest. And Andrew, anything else we could share with Daryl?
Yes, Merrill. So we did the research for why the study was made, and this was before Councilmember Say's time, but it was to mitigate parking turnover and abandoned cars on Eisenberg. So it kind of helps with the enforcement piece.
Yes. Same token, we're pushing all the parking, and I spoke to you about that. We had a great conversation. I appreciate your time, Andrew, that you took, answered my phone calls, because it was more than one phone call. And I appreciate your time that you spent discussing that issue now. Everything that's on Eisenberg is going to be pushed into Houston Street, Date, and Coolidge, and, you know, the surrounding areas. It's all going to be branched out now. So it's going to make the competition worse for us. And the thing is now, we're going to, if that's going to be the case, then I'm going to be calling HBD more, right? And the last episode I had with a cop coming to the Coolidge Street to deal with a vehicle that was parked there for a week, I had an attitude from the cop. The cop wasn't happy that he had to come over there and get out of his car, God forbid, and write up on a piece of paper to ticket this vehicle that was there for a week, you know? And so I'm not really too thrilled about the idea of having to call HBD all the time, because then I'm going to have more interaction with them, which I don't want. You know, I don't want to have to come out of my apartment and deal with that. You know, it's not fair to us to have a public servant, HPD, come over there and give me a hard time about calling them about getting a vehicle towed, you know, whatever. I don't even know what the rules is for this anymore. Because when I call HPD, they say I got to call the abandoned vehicle line. They take about 3 days to get out there, mark the vehicle. 24 hours later, they were talking about, you know, whatever it is, you know, to get this vehicle off our street. So I'm trying to figure out how we can enforce this in a more positive way to bring this issue to a halt, you know?
Darrell, can I just share this? I can sympathize with your concerns, your feelings, etc., because I got criticized by making a request to HPD to cite a lot of those cars on Houston Street. And there were residents of Houston Street also, but they were there for a long period of time, whereby, you know, what about the other residents too? So let us work together on it. I'm just happy that you are a concerned citizen of the Moiliili McCully area. And I think all the board members can understand and sympathize what you're going through. Another issue that I can share with all of you was that we did adopt a ordinance that was called the Reserve Parking Zones, which is a pilot project in Kalihi. Yeah.
Yes, I brought that up with your assistant, Andrew. I said, there are places in Kalihi that have adopted that idea for RPZs, right? And so
Right.
I brought it up to Andrew and I said, hey, you know, I don't want to just present the problem. I want to also present a solution. That would be a great solution because then that would minimize the amount of people coming over there and dumping their cars over there and splitting off the Waikiki. We actually have somebody that's doing that right now. They put their rental Jeeps on our street and they take off and they can get it later. So
Okay.
yeah, RPZ would be, I'm totally for that. If we can make that happen, that would be great. That would be a great solution, you know.
So Andrew, can we follow up with Merrill?
Yes, Meryl, we can hop on a phone call and then I'll loop in Councilmember Say.
Thanks, Calvin.
No, thank you very much, all of you, for being a
One
concerned
more question.
citizen.
Another question.
Hi, Calvin Say, Kate here.
Yeah.
Coolidge Neighborhood Watch. I don't know about this study, but I don't think anybody would have agreed to put parking meters there. It's like our own street is that we have to call the police to get something done. This seems to be in conjunction with the DHHL building that's going to be built. And it's, to me, they could police that Eisenberg as well as any other street. And it's the people that have businesses on Coolidge are very unhappy about it because they need parking for their businesses. So I don't think it was ever discussed. Does anybody on the board know that they were going to put parking meters there? I don't think anybody knew. I think it went right by, and I think it's not fair to the community that they didn't get any input.
I apologize for my predecessors on this. Thank you.
Okay, anybody else for? No? Yeah, thanks for coming.
You're very welcome. Thank you, Paul.
Okay, bye-bye. Okay, Representative Aaron True Garrett. Andrew Garrett. Going once, twice, 3 times. Okay, Representative Scott Nishimoto. No? Nope. 1, 2, 3. Okay. Representative Adrian Tan. Wow. Nobody loves us. Okay. 1, 2, 3. I know he's here. Les Yara, thank you for coming.
Good evening. Let's see, this is the second month into our interim. Legislative has an interim from May through half of January, third Wednesday in January. The Senate is planning to come in at the end of June for a 2-day session for let's go off and on. 4 circuit court judges, special session, and I'll be missing that. I'll be in Dayton, Ohio. I'm on the Kettering Foundation Board of Trustees, and but I'll be vetting it from afar. June 24th is a day that the Governor Green has to publish a list of bills that he might veto. He can veto any of them now, but he has until July 9th to actually veto a bill. And on July 9th, if the legislature wanted to go in, we could just show up and override any of those bills, although it's very unlikely where the legislature rarely does it. And especially on election year, it's rare, let's put it that way. I'd be happy to answer any questions. I did note that I am meeting with Roger Morton at Department of Transportation Services regarding the Alawai Bridge, the tall one, a couple weeks from now. And I'll be reviewing the concerns that I've identified through all the materials that are not included in a draft EA, and we're going to discuss about whether it can be cured through a final EA. I believe it's unlikely, but possible. They'd have to extend it significantly. But the cure would be to have it incorporated. And basically, it's community impacts that have not been disclosed fully or have not been explored adequately in order to yield information on the impact of the bridge on the community. And so I'll be presenting my concerns, and then my approach is to collaborate with them so they can decide whether what they want to do, and if not, then they'll probably have a judge, a neutral arbiter, to decide what should be disclosed or not. And so I'm taking a collaborative approach, and let's have as much wisdom applied to the situation as possible.
Okay, any questions for our favorite person? You represent yourself, or are you microphone?
I guess on the agenda, so we, the chair is so efficient. So I'm on the agenda number 6E, and it's Senator Leslie Howard Jr., District 10. So I'm a state senator among 25, and I represent actually all the way to Moiliili Heights, Wilhelmina Rise. I represent that area, Palolo, Kaimuki, from above the freeway, or I have the upper Kaimuki. I used to have all of Wakapulu, but I have barely a little bit. And I go all the way to Moiliili Street, 1 street, Cocoa Head of McCully. And I go up to the freeway. So I include the lower, so I have 6 house districts. I have precincts and for 6 representatives all across it. So I'm spread out. And I don't think that's wise. I think it should have been 2 house districts per Senate, because right now no one can run against me. So to me, it should have 2 House, and then if I'm not doing well, then at least one of them can run. But now none of them can run because they have a slice of the Senate district. So anyway, that's 8 years in the future.
And you're a good person to know.
Well, if you're into that thing, I do have. So I have 2 full-time staff all year round, and so they deal with, and a lot of it is just we can just handle. And it's a state level, so it's a state. We don't have a lot of the nuts and bolts, right? And it's really state policy. So big policy and national even policy, we deal with those. And I happen to be the longest-serving legislator here, and so I've seen it all. And I tend to look at projects that take many years, because most legislators, you basically, rightfully so, you have to look for your next election. And for the House, it's every 2 years. So what have you done for me in 2 years? In the Senate is what have you done for me in 4 years? Well, after I've been 38 years. And so my goal is to find competition, because people don't want to compete. And so I'm trying to promote competition. I'm not up this year. Promote competition because even people want competition. And so even if they lose, you want to give them credit for competing and making it an issue. So I'm favoring a civic brand of politics.
Okay. Nobody else? Nobody going once, twice? Thank you. Thank you very much. Always a pleasure. Next, we have Senator Carol Fukunaga. Not here. Senator Sharon Moriwaki. Not here. Okay. Next, resident community comments. Brief mention of items of concern or comments that are not on the agenda. Anybody have anything to say first? Board? Board, nobody? Okay. Ron.
Aloha, everyone. My name's Brendan. I'm a resident of McCully, just over the H1 freeway over here. I'm going to be running for District 5 for the Honolulu City Council. So we have an upcoming election this August, followed by a general election in November. I understand we've been talking a lot about pedestrian safety today, listening in before coming in person. It's one of my big campaign promises. And so feel free to chat with me afterwards or reach out to me. I have a website fully set up. You can call me anytime or email me. And I look forward to meeting you and chatting with you all over the next few months. Thank you.
Okay, so now that you did that, anybody else in the room want to announce their candidacy? That gentleman right there.
Aloha. Thank you very much, Chair Verbati. My name is Ian Ross. I don't think I'm a stranger to many people in this room at this point. I am a candidate for House District 23. It's a community that cuts across many neighborhoods. And, I was born just outside the corner of it at Kapiolani Hospital, but I grew up on Kauai, raised by a single mom. Had to work a couple of jobs through high school, and I really found a lot of my purpose through community organizing and advocacy. So when I say thank you to our board members and those who spend time at our neighborhood board system, know that I really mean it. I really believe in the power of community and what we can do when we come together. And it's obviously, when we walk down the street, you can see now more than ever, we need that. And I've been grateful to collaborate with this board on a number of issues in the past. Red Hill comes to mind, opposing the first redistricting plan that came up in 2021 for the House districts. Working together on discussions related to illegal game rooms. I know it was something that wasn't passed here, but was something I was able to work with a number of the neighborhood boards within our district on. And of course, wanting to echo and increase the volume of your voice when you stand on certain issues. So no, I mean it when I say that I will always put community first. And I humbly ask for your support in this election. And thank you for this opportunity to speak with all of you.
Thank you, Ian. Just to let you know that I'm running for the same office, but you all know who I am, so we'll go to the next question.
I am not announcing a candidacy.
Oh.
Aloha, Chair, board members. My name is Cedric Duarte with the Moiliili Festivals, here to announce that the annual Moiliili Summer Fest One Dance will be Saturday, July 6th at the Old Varsity Building. It's an annual event organized by Moiliili Hawaii, Moiliili Community Center, Japanese Cultural Center of Hawaii, Kamehameha Schools, UH Manoa. This is the 11th One Dance event. There will be free parking at the University of Hawaii parking structure, lower campus parking structure, with free trolley rides from the parking lot to the site and back. It's a fairly crowded event. We'll have over 25 food trucks, vendors, and it goes from 5 p.m. to 10 p.m. Oh, and Coin Street will be closed from Kailiu Street to University for safety. That is all.
It'll be fun.
It'll be fun. Please come. Mahalo.
Okay, we have another person, Cyrus.
Thank you, Chair. Aloha, everyone. My name is Cyrus Howe. I work at the local nonprofit Hawaii Green Growth, and I'm just here to announce the project that we're spearheading that is across the whole Alawai watershed, of which McCully Moiliili is one of 10 or 11 neighborhoods, however you qualify them. And so we're conducting these rainwater assessments, basically to measure the volume of rain each property experiences, to give homeowners, property managers an idea of how to best divert that or capture that rainwater so it doesn't turn into brown water runoff. And so we can also at the same time recharge the aquifers. This is open to all residents, and I apologize for posting this in the chat earlier out of turn, but the website is there, hawaiigreengrowth.org/follow the drop. And I'll just add my personal email address for people to contact me directly if they'd like to know more. We will be tabling at the Be Ready Manoa's Fair, Saturday, June 15th. If you'd like to speak to us in person as well, we'd love to talk story with you. Thank you.
Okay, anybody else have anything? Yes.
So he said he was gonna give his information to whom? Is he gonna post it there or?
I put it in the chat.
Chat.
Okay, I'll get with you. Thanks.
Okay, housekeeping announcements. Next regular meeting, as we talked about, is August 6:30 right here. Future agenda items, just let me know 2 weeks. I'll get us on the schedule. 3, Olelo broadcast, channel 49, 9 p.m. on the 3rd Friday of the month. If you haven't watched yourself on television, it is a treat, actually. Sorry. The bulky pickup, phone numbers down there, 808-768-3200. And reporting neighborhood issues, any problems you see, you got 911, you have 311. I mean, there's a lot of places you can take care of your problems. And after that, we are now adjourned. Thank you for being here.